These same tools that are making us more polished and articulate are also making us all sound the same. And you're losing what makes you unique, what makes you different, and what makes you authentic. I kind of go into how to avoid the trap of having AI replace your voice and instead using it as a tool, using it as a microphone to amplify your voice rather than stealing your voice.
You're listening to the Happy Productive Podcast. I'm your host, Jennifer Dawn, business coach and founder of Freedom Builders. If you're ready to slow it on down and stop grinding, do the inner work that makes outer success inevitable, and build a soul-aligned, not soul-sucking, business and life that feel amazing and overflow with ease and joy and happy productivity, you're in the right place. If you'd like to learn more, just hop on over to my website, jenniferdawncoaching.com. That's it. Let's get into today's episode. Hey, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of the Happy Productive Podcast. This is Jennifer Dawn, and I am here with my good friend, Kate Rosenberg. Kate, hello, and welcome to the show.
Hi, Jennifer. Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, you guys are in for such a treat today. So, Kate, I'm going to let you just share a little bit of your story, but I'm going to give a little sneak peek that Kate and I have known each other, I don't even know for how many years now, Kate.
6 years.
No way. Oh my goodness, 6 years. And it has been a good ride. Like, I have just loved every minute of it, but I'm going to just zip it for a second, and I'm going to just let Kate just tell a little bit of your story, and then we are going to dive right in.
Thanks, Jennifer. I'm Kate Rosenberg. I am a life and career coach and founder of Shattered Glass Coaching, and I work with professional women to transform their careers and land jobs that align with their joy, their happiness, and their goals. And I was in the corporate world for about 11 years. I was doing a lot of training and development and management. And I started seeing this pattern that a lot of women who I worked with across organizations were all struggling with similar things. Things like they didn't know how to advance their careers, they struggled with imposter syndrome, they didn't know how to negotiate their salaries, to self-advocate and speak up for what they wanted. And I decided to do something about it. And that's why I started Shattered Glass Coaching, was to coach women on these issues and challenges in their lives and their careers that were holding them back from being as successful as possible. And that was about 6 years ago when I launched Shattered Glass Coaching. And I actually hired Jennifer right here as my business coach from day one when I started my coaching practice, because I knew I wanted someone who had been there and done this before to give me guidance, someone who had business acumen. And Jennifer, you helped me build Shattered Glass Coaching from literally the ground up. And after, 3 years of building my business and growing my client base and honing my coaching skills, that's when you actually hired me to come on Team JDC and work with your clients as well. So it's been such a fun ride, and I've loved having you there throughout the whole thing.
Oh, I love it. You guys, I met Kate when you were still actually kind of in corporate, but you were fresh out of life coach school. And you were like, I'm going to start a business. I don't know what I'm doing. And you did. You hired me right from day one, and we built it from scratch. And I even remember when we were trying to figure out like what you wanted your coaching specialty to be. And you kind of, you tried a few different things. And so what made you land on helping women with their careers? Like, what was that specifically that really just lit you up?
I saw a lot of it when I was in corporate and had a 9 to 5 of just these same problems that I struggled with myself too. Not knowing how to use my voice, not knowing how to overcome some of the mindset struggles that hold you back from being successful, not knowing how to navigate tricky conversations and leadership and team dynamics, the stuff that is really frustrating when you're going through it in your career, and it kind of keeps you up at night or makes you dread going to work. And as I was having conversations with dozens of women every week, they were all struggling with those exact same things. And I had clients who told me that they'd been in the same job for 15 years, but they were totally unhappy and they couldn't figure out why. And they wanted to make a change and they didn't know how to do it or who to talk to about it. And when I was hearing these conversations over and over and over, I thought, you know what? This is the kind of coach I wish I had 10, 12 years ago when I first started my career. And that's when I knew I wanted to work with women in their careers. And Shattered Glass Coaching is a nod to breaking the glass ceiling because I'm all about women's empowerment and shattering through whatever barrier is in your life or career so that you can have the life you want and you can unlock that full potential.
Oh, I love that so much. You said something that really resonated. You said many things, but that whole like being the kind of coach that you wish you'd had, like literally at JDC, that's been my theme of like Jennifer, just be the kind of coach that you wish you'd had, that you didn't
Yes.
have all those years. And so I love that that's really kind of what made you take the leap and to go in this direction. And you are an absolutely brilliant coach. You guys, I'm telling you, Kate is brilliant. I hope that you are always some part of our team. I know you have this very successful business, but just having you as part of the team is so amazing. And you guys, I'm going to tell you, like, I kind of like agonized a little bit over even asking Kate. It wasn't that I didn't want her to be part of the team. I was like, you've been such an amazing client. I loved witnessing all of your success. I'm like, am I going to ruin it if I'm like, hey, you want to do a little coaching for us too? But it didn't. We've been going strong ever since. It's just, it was such a great decision and it's just been so wonderful. And I absolutely love having you as part of the team.
I love being part of the team, and I'll tell you, in my coaching practice, I primarily work with career pivots and job seekers. And when I work with you, I'm primarily working with business owners and coaching people who are growing their business. And so I really like it because I learned so much from you about how to start a business from scratch, how to create a business strategy, having the right mindset as a business owner. And it worked for me, right? Like my business grew, I got to a certain level, and now I get to take that and coach other business owners on that through JDC. So I love it. It's like this virtuous cycle that works really well.
It really does, and it really complements each other because even for all my coaches out there, like if you want to be a really good coach, get coached. And like you can't expect yourself to be a really good coach if you haven't gone through the process yourself, if you haven't been open to coaching, if you haven't taken what somebody told you that was like, ah, that stings a little bit, or I don't really like hearing that, and then had to like go and do something with it. Like that's how you become a really great coach. And Kate, that was one of the things I think you did better than anything. It was just like whatever came up, whatever challenge, what obstacle, even if you didn't like where you were at, you still were open-minded, you still sat with it, like you always showed up and you always did the work on yourself. And I really truly believe, like, I mean, I've worked with so many clients, like I can tell who's going to be successful and who isn't. And the fact that you were kind of fearless, even when, of course, fear did come up at times, but just showing up, you know, not trying, I don't want to use that word, but showing up, doing it, committing, and just taking that action, like that's why you were really successful.
I agree. And I think no matter what kind of coaching you're getting, if you can invest fully your time, your energy, your resources, and you check your ego at the door and just say, like, I'm going to go all in on this, you're going to get the best results, whether it's business coaching, life coaching, health coaching, whatever it is. Just check your ego at the door and go all in on yourself, bet on yourself, get the help you need from a coach who's been there, done it, you know, can help you, and you're going to be happy with the result. Your life is going to look so different in 90 days.
Yeah, agree completely. And now, Kate, I'm so excited because you, my dear, have checked another box, which is write and publish your own book. And I have my little copy here if you guys are watching on video. And Kate has her copy there because I'm in New York and she's in California. And here we are with her copy of her amazing book, Authentic Success. Congratulations. So tell us a little bit about what made you want to write this book.
Authentic Success has been, gosh, 2.5 or 3 years in the making since I first started writing it. And it really is my coaching program in book form. It includes all of the same tools and exercises that I use to help clients get aligned on their goals, their values, and what they really want out of their career so they can be successful in a way that feels authentic to them. And I'll tell you, when I first decided that I needed to write this book, again, it was like 3 years ago, and I had this client. She was in her mid 40s, and she was a executive at a big tech company. And on our very first coaching call, she told me, Kate, I need you to help me figure out what I want to be when I grow up.
Mhm.
And I was like, she looks super successful on paper. She had
Yeah.
the fancy VP title. She was making great money. She was well respected. She had been advancing her career at this company for almost 2 decades. Yet inside, she felt completely stuck and empty. And a lot of other clients that I work with tell me similar things. They've kind of just been climbing the corporate ladder, taking whatever the next right step is, but they're just faking it. They're doing the things they think they should do in their career, not the
Yeah.
things that truly bring them fulfillment and joy and that authentic success. So that's why I wrote this book, is for that woman.
Oh, I love that so much. And you're going to laugh at this. So I got the book. I was so super excited, cracked it open, started reading. And as I'm reading, I'm like, damn, like she really has nailed it just like right off the bat. And then I flipped the page or two and I realized I was reading the foreword that I wrote. And I was like, oh, well, no wonder this is really landing. I'm like, Jennifer, you big ding dong. You're just reading the foreword. But you know, when publishing a book, like it had been months and months before,
Hmm. Hmm.
and I literally had forgotten. I just was like, wow, this is so good. And the good news, you guys, is that I kept reading and it's still really, really good. And I thought, I was like, if I called Kate right now and said, man, you really nailed it in that forward, she's going to be like, Jennifer, you big ding dong.
You're
No.
like, this is great. Who wrote
This
this?
is great. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Okay, but one of the chapters I really want to spend a little bit of time on is your chapter around AI. And I know there might be some people that are like, oh yeah, we've got the everybody who's afraid of AI completely. We've got on the other side everybody who's now using AI for everything. And then you've got all the people stuck in the middle. And so would you mind, like, let's dive in a little bit on your thoughts around AI, especially when it comes to authentic success?
Jennifer, I wasn't even going to include a chapter about AI in the book when I first started writing. This was back in 2024. And then all of a sudden, ChatGPT became this huge thing that people were
Yeah,
using just ubiquitously. And I
yeah,
realized that I was seeing everyone I know using ChatGPT. I was starting to see it show up all over my social media feed and in
yeah.
emails. And I realized that everyone was kind of starting to sound the same and losing their authenticity. And
Hmm.
that's when I knew I needed to write this chapter, is because AI tools are great. They are
Hmm.
making us more productive, more efficient, more effective, and they're also making us more polished and articulate. But what's kind of a funny paradox is these same tools that are making us more polished and articulate are also making us all sound the same. And you're
Yeah.
losing what makes you unique, what makes you different, and what makes you authentic. So in this chapter of the book, I kind of go into how to avoid the trap of having AI replace your voice and instead using it as a tool, using it as a microphone to amplify your voice rather than stealing your voice.
Oh, I love this so much. I've even met a few people out there that are starting to sound like chat. And it's like I know that you
No.
didn't come up with that on your own. I know that you're just regurgitating what you heard or saw or whatever on AI. So please, 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 everybody, like we're not anti-AI. In fact, we use AI at Jennifer John Coaching. When we had the marketing agency, we were using definitely a lot of AI for that. Now we use it we use a little bit. We use it very, very intentionally for a few things that actually do make us and our coaching team more effective. And so we're not anti AI. We love the AI, but like it cannot replace you. So I love your point about the more you're using AI, you're just starting to sound like everybody else using AI. So, for those of our listeners who are hearing that and it's resonating, even if you don't like it, it's resonating. You're like, they're probably right about this. What do you recommend as far as finding your authentic voice? Like, how much AI can you use for that or not at all? Like, what do you think?
First off, I think you need to decide what you're comfortable with and what your boundaries are. And I have an exercise in the book called Your Personal AI Policy. And the goal is to help
Mm.
you figure out like these are the areas of my life or business or career where I'm comfortable using AI. And here's what I'm not comfortable with. This goes against my values. This goes against my boundaries. And that policy is going to look different for everyone else. But I think that's the starting point. And I'll give you just some quick examples. For me,
Yeah.
I'm never okay having AI write an email that I would send to a client. Like, I'm not going to have
Yeah.
client communication being taken over by a robot. But I will use AI to help me brainstorm blog topics, social media topics. I will use AI to proofread for me. Those are things I feel very comfortable with AI doing.
Yeah.
So I think each individual just needs to write down, like articulate and get it in writing what you feel comfortable with. And that's a starting point because that's different for everyone. And I think like a good general rule of thumb, and I tell people this a lot, and I work with a lot of job seekers who are using AI for things like their resume, their cover letter, updating their LinkedIn profile. And I always say like never copy and paste, right?
Yeah.
Like that's when you're letting it steal your voice for you. So
Yeah.
look at what the output is and use it to polish things up, to ideate, to brainstorm, to strategize, but don't copy and paste and use it word for word because your audience can tell. Even if it's mastered your voice, your audience can still tell.
Yeah, you absolutely can. You get an email these days and you're like, oh yeah, AI wrote this. And it's just like, eh. But, and one of the things I did find, because I do use it to help me with my blog topics, because we do write a long form blog post. But one of the things I did was I put a bunch of like my podcast episodes, like I uploaded transcripts of me, just me talking. Here's what I sound like. And I took a lot of time to sort of to program, right? Like this is who I am, this is what I'm about. And I noticed that like I definitely get better output. It still requires editing. I want to be very clear. Like I still have to go through it and I absolutely have to edit it to really make it sound like me, but I noticed I could do less editing the more time I took to program it, but with my own voice, my own thoughts, those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm. And using AI as a thought partner is
Yeah.
another great way to view it. And I'll give a quick example of this. Like I said, I work with a lot of job seekers, and some of
Yeah.
them, when they first come to me, are like, okay, I'm plugging my resume into ChatGPT or Claude and saying like, make it better or
Yeah.
write a crisper version of my resume. And hiring managers are so tired of seeing resumes that were completely generated by AI. So instead, using AI as a thought partner, a different way to do it would be to upload your resume and say, act as a recruiter in the blank industry who reviews
Yeah.
over 100 applications daily. Is my resume keyword optimized? Am I missing anything? What would make you reject it versus want to interview me immediately? Like, be brutally honest about what's working and what's not. And when you give it that strong prompt and you give it a good input and you ask it for feedback as a thought partner, you get a lot better output because you're not asking it to just write something for you that it's pulling from God knows where. And it's being more of a strategic thought partner.
Yes, thought partner, which means you still have to do your own thinking. I noticed there was a time a little while ago where I just found myself wanting to go to AI like for everything. And then I was like, Jennifer, slow it down. Like, you need to do your own thinking, girlfriend. Like,
Mm-hmm.
use it to get ideas, to get the brainstorming, bounce something off of it, but then you have to do your own thinking. As a side note to the cover letter, so the way that I got my big fancy corporate job, I'll never forget. This is before AI, y'all. So I'm writing my cover letter, and I was the president of my software company, and I was applying for the president of this software company. And I remember that I wrote something like, I've done it all from signing the multi-million dollar deals to cleaning the toilet before the client showed up. And it was that line. That's what got me the interview. Was I've done it all from cleaning the toilets. And he was like, that cleaning the toilets, like that's what stood out for him. That's why he interviewed me and that's why I got the job. So like, don't be afraid to put a little bit of you in there. Although Kate, you comment on that because I'm not the career coach.
No, you're right, because that is something that is like uniquely your experience. No one else would have said that or would have done that, cleaned the toilet before the client showed up. So that was so authentic to you. And I think that's the key. And AI could have never made that up because it just didn't
Yeah.
know that from your lived experience. And I think the same thing goes for any kind of writing or communications or content that business owners or anyone is putting out there is like your unique voice is what attracts people to you. It's your energy. It's not the business, right? It's you and your voice and how you're showing up and what makes you unique and different and authentic. And AI just can't replicate that. So think about like what are the words and phrases that only you use? How do you naturally talk? What's your personality? What's your communication style? What are some of your like lived experiences or stories from your life or career, like cleaning the toilet before the client shows up or whatever it is that nobody else has? Because these are the things that make you unique and different when everyone else is starting to sound the same.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? It was true. I was the one who cleaned the dumb toilet. And it's just like, but it also goes, it went to, in running a company, I was not above cleaning the toilet or signing the big fancy deal. And I remember later on the gentleman who hired me, he's like, when I read that, I just got a sense that you could do the job. Like, I didn't have to worry. I knew it would be in good hands. I could do the job. So even when you are being honest about who you are, like it's saying more than what you might even realize the words are saying. So don't be afraid to be unique, be yourself, within boundaries, don't go too crazy. Like there are some things that maybe you shouldn't go and say, but within good parameters.
And I also think there's something to be said about genuine communication. And there's a difference between like sloppy communication and authentic communication. I don't mean
Yeah.
something that is filled with typos or that is using improper language or grammar, but something that sounds like it was written by a human and it isn't perfectly polished and it doesn't sound sterile, just connects with people on an emotional level and people resonate with it more than something that is perfectly polished but very boring and sterile and forgettable.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I love what you're saying about be authentic, be yourself. We just did our retreat. I don't know when this is going to air, but a couple of months ago, we were in Costa Rica and we were working on this deeper level of work that we've been doing here at Jennifer John Coaching. We like to go right to the root and shift it there. And then guess what? Everything above it changes. But in Costa Rica, in that group, one of the things that came up that actually surprised me was visibility. So many of the women, this retreat in particular was all women, but you don't have to be a woman to feel this, but the visibility around success. So when it came time to get on camera, do social media, go to a speaking, go to a networking, like all of these things that, and even be successful in your business, if you are afraid of visibility, people will see me. They might have what I want. If I get it, I could lose it. I was surprised at how much visibility came up. And so I'm curious, like, what do you say if somebody is like, man, that all sounds great to be my authentic self, but it scares the bejesus out of me, or it doesn't feel safe? Like, what can you offer those folks?
And it usually goes way deeper than that. You talked about healing things at the root first.
Yeah.
Normally, when someone says that they're afraid of putting themselves out there, of being visible, of being on social media, it goes back to something probably in their past where they were visible and they were either shamed for it or embarrassed or things didn't turn out the way they wanted. And so next time that they want to be visible, they have that wound, they have that fear, that deep seated fear from, well, last time I was visible, it didn't work out. So as you say, Jennifer, they've created a safety rule
Hmm.
around if I'm not visible, then no one can hurt me. If I
Yeah.
don't post on social media, no one can leave a nasty comment. If
Right.
I don't network, then no one can think that I'm the awkward person in the room or whatever it is. And so my first piece of advice would be to look at the root of the issue. Where is this fear coming from? Why don't you want to be visible? And I think that there's also this society has normalized for women, especially, that stay quiet, be obedient, be agreeable, nod along, and that's how you be a good girl. And
Right.
that maybe served you well as a child, but now as an adult woman, as a business owner, as a CEO, that doesn't serve you
Yeah.
anymore. And
Mm-mm.
I think that along with whatever your own visibility wound might be, you also need to kind of fight back against what society has told you about being a good girl and like make that active, conscious decision to, I'm okay to be visible. I'm going to take up
Mhm.
space. I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to use my voice. And think of all the great things that could happen as a result of that. Your
Yeah.
confidence will bloom. You'll make great new relationships. Your business will get more exposure, whatever it is. And think about those things. And then the last thing I'll say about this is I think there's a way to be visible that aligns with your values and who you are.
Mhm.
And there's all these ways that you can be visible, whether it's choosing one social media platform over another, whether it's
Yeah.
going to large networking events versus more small, intimate ones, speaking on stage versus doing a podcast or speaking at a retreat. So pick the visibility mechanism that aligns with your style and your values. You don't have to be visible everywhere all at once. You can kind of choose the area that feels good to you and aligns with you.
Oh, I agree so much. And you said something about taking up space. That really resonated with me because that was such an important part for me of it was okay to take up space because especially as a child, like you make yourself small. I made myself small, stay out of the way, be good, right? And I never felt like it was okay for me to take up space. And so just the act of giving yourself permission that it is okay for me to be here. It is okay for me to occupy a space. It is safe for me to be visible. Those things were definitely huge, huge for me. So I just want to call that out for anybody who's listening. And I'm so glad that you named that because it is okay to be visible and to take up some space, even if when you grew up, maybe that wasn't safe. But now
Yeah.
things are different and we're grown-ups and we can
Yeah.
do things differently.
And it's literally physical space as well. Like when you walk into a meeting,
Yeah.
don't choose the chair in the corner and don't like slouch your shoulders and cross your arms. Like sit at the front, have good posture, open your shoulders up, have your hands out on the table where there's visible. Like those physical cues that just show you I can take up space and it's safe. And
Yeah.
that confidence will kind of follow.
Yeah, agreed. Oh, Kate. I call her Katie Kate, you guys. My Katie Kate. We've been through a lot in the last 6 years, and I love working with you so much. You're
Me
such a
too.
brilliant coach. I know there's people listening right now, and it's so funny. I never thought of interviewing all of our coaches on the podcast. And so I'm like, what am I crazy? So you, my dear, have kicked off because you're my first coach to have on the podcast and with your book launch and everything like that. So we will be interviewing our other coaches, but I'm just so happy to have you here. You're such a brilliant coach. Like anybody is so lucky to get to work with you. And I'm so lucky that I got to work with you too and that I've been part of this journey with you.
Thank you. I love our team. I love working with you. I love our clients. We have the best clients. So, anyone out
Yeah.
there who's listening and is curious about working with Jennifer Dawn Coaching, like take a step, book that call. Let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Business owners give us a call, and all you career gals give Kate a call.
Yeah.
And we have got you covered. Kate, will you please share with everybody where can they find you? Where can they buy this beautiful book?
Sure. So the two social media platforms I'm most active on are Instagram and TikTok. I make career advice videos every single day. My handle is shattered.glass.coaching on both of those platforms. And then my book is Authentic Success, which you can buy on Amazon or really anywhere that you can buy books, Barnes and Noble, Target, Walmart, but Amazon Authentic Success.
Beautiful. Kate, thank you so much for being here with me
Thank you,
today.
Jennifer.
All right, everybody, that's our show for today. We'll put everything in the show notes, but please go grab a copy of Kate's book. It is absolutely brilliant. And that's it for our show today. So the only thing left is for you guys to get out there and have a happy, productive day, y'all. Bye. Say bye, Kate. Say bye, y'all, because she's
Bye.
famous for her y'alls.
Bye, y'all.
Perfect. Bye, everybody.
If today's episode resonated with you, I'd love to have you join us inside Freedom Builders, my coaching community for entrepreneurs who are ready to slow it on down, do the inner work, and build soul-aligned businesses that are happy, productive. Everything you need is linked below in the description, or you can visit my website at jenniferdawncoaching.com. I hope to see you there.